Some years ago, I was stranded at National Airport in Washington, D.C. My flight had been canceled because of a severe thunderstorm. While I was waiting, I called my mother. I was up on a balcony, looking down at a concourse where people were crossing every which way to get to their flights. Suddenly, I saw someone I recognized. "Mom, you won't believe this. There's Teddy Kennedy." "Go talk to him," my mother said. And while my mother, who could make a friend anywhere, anytime, was trying to persuade me to go down and talk to him, I interrupted myself again. "You won't believe this. There's Susan Collins, the senator from Maine." And 30 seconds after that, there's Olympia Snowe, the other senator from Maine. My mother was still back with Teddy Kennedy. "You know, you're his constituent. He'll be happy to talk to you." "Come on," I said. What would I say? What's the point? And why should I bother him? Many people, like my mother, think I would have had a great story to tell if I had gone down to talk to any of the senators. But I think I may have a better story, and one that's very pertinent to my theme today, not having gone down. Now, you may never be in a position where you need to decide, should you go down and talk to a famous person? For you, it might be, you gotta go to networking events, shake hands with strangers, make small talk. Or, blogging is the only way. No one succeeds as a copywriter without blogging. Or, the fastest, easiest way to get clients is cold calls. Just do it. Get over yourself. If you've been barraged by this kind of marketing advice, you may have felt, "But that's not me." You may have felt, "I don't know if I even want to succeed if I have to do that." If so, you're not alone. You may be one of the 25% or so of the population who are introverts. Some say it's as much as 50%. No one knows for sure. The introvert-extrovert distinction comes to us from psychologist Carl Jung, who came up with the distinction partly as a way to understand the differences between himself and his colleague Sigmund Freud. The two men were interested in the same issues and psychological phenomena, but they had vastly different ways of operating in the world. Jung was the introvert in that pair. According to Jung's definition, an introvert is someone who loses energy when they're with other people and regains energy, recharges when they are alone. An extrovert is someone who loses energy when they're alone and gains energy being with other people. Introverts are often seen as reserved and reflective, while extroverts are often seen as outgoing and gregarious. If you're an introvert, you're in the minority. You're the odd one in this culture. Extroverts are the norm. I've been up against this my whole life because on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is least introverted and 10 is most introverted, I would be an 8, maybe an 8.5, inching up toward a 9. There aren't many places in today's world where we're told that it's okay, much less a good thing, to be an introvert. And if you're thinking, I think I'm an extrovert, so what will I get out of this talk? Stick around, because it will help you understand a client, a joint venture partner, a spouse, or a child of yours who is an introvert. It will help you communicate with anybody, regardless of their personality. You see, once you look around with informed eyes, you start to see how much marketing and marketing advice assumes we're all extroverts. It assumes that we respond the way extroverts do. A couple of years ago, I saw a promotion for a conference for bloggers called World Domination Summit. You see, you already get my point. Let's start with the name. World Domination Summit. Do you want to dominate the world? Really? That's a textbook example of hype. It's exaggeration designed to be exciting because it is not literally true. Introverts have told me again and again that they dislike hype. But it was the illustration for World Domination Summit that really caught my eye. In the picture, it showed a conference room much bigger than this one, full of people. But the thing was, you couldn't really pick out any human beings in the picture. They were just pinpricks. And it was pinpricks all the way back. That picture was chosen to be exciting and persuasive and motivating, to make me want to go to that summit. But for me, it had the opposite effect. That was my immediate visceral reaction. In one survey I did of self-identified introverts, 75% of the people in the survey said that they could pretend to be an extrovert if something important was at stake. But to go that route on a consistent basis has an enormous cost. It's stressful. We're less persuasive when we're pretending, and it doesn't change our visceral reactions. Many introverts have told me, I'd rather die than make cold calls. At this point, some well-meaning people make the problem worse. Grow up, they say. Life isn't meant to be comfortable. Or, calling yourself an introvert is just an excuse for being a wimp. Or, you can learn to overcome being an introvert. There are pills you can take. Try anti-anxiety medication. It will help you. Or, Marcia, you can go to charm school and learn how to make small talk with a smile. Or, feel the fear and do it anyway. I see a lot of heads nodding, so you've heard that one too. I've thought a lot about that one. And based on what introverts say and how they say it, the words they use, I don't think it's fear that they're feeling. I believe it's revulsion. It's revulsion against a way of treating other people as we do not want to be treated. It's revulsion against marketing that goes against who we feel we are and who we want to be in the world. Conventional marketing advice says that when we're in business, we must meet customers' expectations. Now that sounds reasonable. The problem is that sometimes we have a narrow, stereotypical, and mistaken idea of what those expectations are. So, for example, I've heard this said about introverts. No one wants to do business with a wallflower. Is that true? Well, let's take the pejorative connotations out of that statement and look at it again. No one wants to do business with someone who is thoughtful, reflective, and who listens more than they talk. Now, if I think about the qualities that I want in, let's say, a doctor, or even a used car salesperson, I want someone who listens and who responds to what I say. I don't care if they have incredible charisma or they're off the charts of some likability scale. What good is that to me? And it's the same with us. In 2009, the organization RAIN Today did a survey of people who hire professional service providers. And in answer to one of the questions of what bothers you most about professional service providers, and we copywriters are professional service providers. So 38% of the people in the survey said their biggest complaint was service provider did not listen to me. And 55% of people in the survey said they would rather do business with someone who was a better listener. When I asked people in one of my surveys who are introverts which qualities they feel serve them best in their business, good listening was one of the top 3 traits mentioned. The other 2 were creativity and trustworthiness. There certainly are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of copywriting clients out there who value good listening, creativity, and trustworthiness. We quiet people have our fans, and let's not forget that. The whole point is to get in touch with who you are, your values, and your personality. Choose the marketing activities that are consistent with that. Your choice of marketing activities will be different from mine and different from his or hers. John F. Kennedy said, "The only reason to give a speech is to change the world." In this speech, I'm inviting you to change your world. If you adopt the approach that I've described, you change your world. It becomes less stressful and more a world of options than of musts or shoulds. You also change the world around you. By being yourself in your marketing, you enlarge other people's ideas of what is possible. You help make the world more welcoming for yourself and for other introverts, or for anyone who's different. If you've been struggling with a marketing approach that does not work for you, give it up. Replace it with something that feels more comfortable, more natural, more authentically you. No one in this room needs a personality transplant to succeed as a copywriter. Use the examples I've given you to create your own version of marketing for introverts. I can't wait to find out how it works for you. Email me, though. Don't call.